Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Go Blue with Stu. I am your host, Stu Douglass. We got Aaron Wright and we got Walker Wright with us today. How's Walker doing right now?
Walker's just got the best timing tonight, I swear.
Walker's just being Walker. Yeah, we won't get into it, but Aaron just had to come back from a dog that got out a little bit, to say the least, because Walker let him out. But yeah, you guys know Ant, and we're gonna preview the season. Just talk Michigan basketball. I don't know if we'll touch a little bit on last year, but really want to preview, get into a lot of stuff. So many newcomers, so much going on, so many moving pieces. It's like the same as it has been the last couple of years, and I got my opinions on all of that. But like, let's start out hot. Give me some juicy goss with what you're hearing with the team, players, who's doing what in practice. Give me something.
Juicy? You want something juicy?
I want some. Yeah, give me some good.
Man, Joey Baker can shoot. Joey Baker's a really good shooter. That's one thing. I'm not sure if it's even out, but like they beat Florida State in the scrimmage, which is also a plus.
Oh dang.
Heard Florida State had, like, of course, Florida State dudes.
Yeah.
Just like +8 wingspans all over the place.
It was like playing a Georgia AAU team or something. They're like all 6'7".
Yeah, so like typical Leonard Hamilton team. Those are the harder teams to play, especially in the preseason, because they can really D you up. They can really play tough defense, get out in passing lanes, really heat you up. And for them to go down there, like they didn't host. I believe they went down to Florida and played Florida State, and they were able to, come out with a W based off of the score. So
did he just want to get down to Florida, or like, I don't understand. I mean, we've never did that once.
I know Beeline didn't do a lot of fun stuff, bro. Like,
well, because he had to pay for it. I don't know. He didn't want to leave.
He hosted like Kent State every year. Like that's just so boring.
Easy wins.
So boring. Yeah, Kent State. Like nowadays, we got like Illinois playing Kansas. Rutgers going down to Chapel Hill playing UNC. Like those are fun trips, right?
Yeah. You don't do them.
What do? We just host Kent. And like one year we like went to Kent State. Like, what do we like?
We went down the road to Eastern Michigan one time. I was like, why are we doing this? What's the point of this?
Like, let
me stay close to the arena. Like, this is a waste of, or let me drive to the game. Why am I taking a bus? This is dumb.
Like, can we at least go to like Central? Like,
honestly, the zoo.
It's kind of far.
All right, I derailed that, but they look good. You're excited about Joey Baker?
Am I excited about Joey? We'll see.
Sure.
If Joey's playing, 30 minutes, I'm not sure how good this Michigan team is going to be. There's no disrespect to Joey, but I think Joey can definitely play 15 to 18 minutes, and be able to really spread the court for some guys who like to get to the cup, and of course for Hunter, who's going to need a lot of spacing this year.
I feel like there's a lot of teams where, especially in the Big Ten, where it can be slower, where you can hide a guy. I mean, I'm just pigeonholing Joey as like slower on the perimeter, but like you could hide him and be like, give him all the spacing that he needs. You put him in the corner and he could hit 3 or 4 threes in this game against, I don't know, let's say Wisconsin, and then come down and you're not playing that many possessions anyways, and then they're running a slower offense when they're spread. So like, I don't know, it seems like an interesting spot where maybe they just got some more possibilities for shooting, like consistent shooting. I know Jalen Llewellyn he was one of the better spot up shooters in college basketball, and I think on the roster in terms of guys who have like recorded enough shots. And then you got Joey, and obviously
Terrence should be able to
stretch. Yep.
Jet should be able to stretch the floor. Cody should be able to stretch the floor, and Will Cheddar, if he's able to find minutes, he'll be able to stretch the floor. I think this is also a team where like being a good shooter and a team respecting your shot, in my opinion, are the same thing.
Oh yeah, especially when you have a possible player of the year.
Right, because if you're creating space, that's just as good as like whether you're a knockdown shooter or not. If they're treating you as a shooter, you're creating that space, and I think that's going to be the difference with Musa being out there at the 4 than Terrence Williams or Will Cheddar, guys who look at T. Will, he can just knock down shots on any given night. Then you have someone like Will Cheddar who ended up winning the 3-point contest. He was a really good shooter coming out of high school.
Yeah,
6'8", 6'9". So this is gonna be a very different team, but this team is gonna be a lot better from a what Juwan likes to do standpoint.
it reminds me of when we would play Ohio State, and I'd be 3 on Diebler, right? You're not leaving him. And then it would literally just
3
be
plus. He's like a
3 plus
plus.
It'd be me and Diebler like going from the corner to corner, and he didn't leave me, I didn't leave him, and it was just 4 on 4. And like I remember like Diebler, like we played Ohio State, and it was probably, I mean, I have to look up the stats, but like he didn't score on me and then I didn't score because we just didn't leave each other. And then each coach was comfortable playing 4 on 4 the rest of the way, and even really 3 on 3 in terms of like had Novak in their other spot. But yeah, they're like, yeah, of course we got Evan Turner. Like, what do you want? We'll play 4 on 4 all day. I don't care. So it's like, all right, and now you got Hunter, and it's pretty close to the same thing. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what you think the projected starting lineup is going to be, but in terms of like weakness, like Bufkin seems like the worst one there in terms of guys that we're talking about major minutes. Am I wrong? Like that creates a whole new world. And if they're smart enough, where if Jalen and Joey can be smart enough, Will, Chet, like Jet, like to move a little bit. I think that was the big thing. It was like no spacing, and then they weren't moving when teams were doubling Hunter.
Yeah, so I think the projected lineup, in my opinion, is going to be Jalen Llewellyn, the transfer from Princeton. Mm-hmm. Then I believe it's going to be Kobe at the 2. There's going to be Jet at the 3, T. Will at the 4, and then Hunter at the 5. Not saying it's going to stay like that. Not saying that those are going to be the top 5-minute guys either. I do expect Doug McDaniel to push for a lot of playing time. And when he does, I think you're going to see, especially if he's out playing Kobe, I think you can see a situation where Doug McDaniel is playing a lot more 1 and Jalen's playing a lot more off ball at the 2, because he is about 6'2", 6'6" wingspan. So it's not like he's like, like 2 guys who are like 5'11" out there.
Yeah.
Doug's a bit smaller. He is about 5'9", 5'10", but he's still a dude. This is someone who had to play. He had to play alongside Trevor Keels, who's now in the NBA, and Jeremy Roach. You know, those 2 were in the backcourt of a Final Four team. He had to play with them in high school, and then in his senior year, Doug was Player of the Year in both football and basketball in the toughest Catholic conference in the entire country. So that's just his mentality.
Right. You're going to have to pry him off the floor.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who once you see him play, you just root for him. Like he's going to be like just super annoying, just like a Tyler Eulis, or like a who's my man's from Indiana, short man, like 5'9", 5'10".
Current?
No, old school. He was there in like 2015.
Not Yogi. Was it Yogi?
Yogi. Yeah. Yogi. Just like smaller dude. He's just gonna add pop. He's not gonna score like Yogi, but in terms of just adding pop, adding flair, adding excitement, he's gonna bring that energy, and that's gonna be another level from what you saw last year, where the guards were much more reserved. Eli very reserved. Devontae Jones very, very reserved. Mike Smith very reserved. And again, he was with Eli, very reserved.
Jalen seems quieter.
Jalen does seem a bit quieter, but Doug, I think, is going to be the dude who's going to try to come at you, bite your ankles. I mean, he was a sophomore he was a sophomore or junior along with Trevor Keels, and they were busting IMG. Like I'm talking about IMG, not the fake one. Like Musa was on that team, Springer was on that team, Jarris Walker was on that team, Mark Williams was on that team. A very, very good IMG team. They came to DC and Paul Six like busted them up, and Doug McDaniel was chewing their guards to pieces in their face, talking junk, like dudes on the ground. He's like walking over them. Like he's gonna bring that type of energy.
Yeah.
Someone who you can't really deny. So if he's able to come in and play, you'll see him push Kobe for minutes, just with the domino effect of moving Jalen down to the 2, and then we'll see if Kobe can get more minutes at the 3. Then he'll be competing with Jet and Isaiah Barnes and all those guys.
It seems like, well, one, Doug's like the guy, like you just like the coach, like he plays a lot, and you're like, well, why is he playing? You look at maybe a box score. You're like, why is he playing 20 minutes? And you're like, you don't get it. Like he's on the court, and you just can't take him off.
Right.
I'll never forget. I was late to practice. It was a morning practice, right? I didn't wake up.
You're always late to practice.
I was only, if it was 6 a.m. We didn't have too many 6 a.m. practices, but those are the 2 times I showed up late. And it was like I kicked his dog in the face or something. And
wait, was this the one where he like sent you back? Or was this
yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, that was that one. Yeah, that was that one. I don't remember. But basically, like we had a meeting afterwards, and he goes, the only reason you're playing, he was like trying to get under my skin. The only reason you're playing is because Kelvin can't understand like how to figure out like the systems and blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, so you're telling me like I figured it out and like I'm good enough and that's why you play me. like just figure out how to have the coach always have to keep you on the floor and you'll figure it out from there.
Right.
Like, it's not super hard there, and I feel like Doug's that type of guy a little bit.
Right. Coaches really like players who have a really high floor. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, and he does for sure.
Yeah, and you get in like he has a high floor. He has a high floor.
Yeah, because you can just trust him. It seems like this team too, where I really like Llewellyn a lot. And I want to talk to you about scheme later. We won't get into that. But it seems like there's now a little more structure to where like, all right, Terrence can start the 4, but he can also play the 3. So Will or Joey can come in, and then you can get Jet a break. And then Buffkin, if he's not having a good game, Doug could come play in the 2 guard. Like you can adjust. You have different styles that you can combo together for different matchups. Yeah. And then you have like the new guys have the breathing room to figure it out, where last year it was like, Musa and Caleb were just making mistakes left and right, specifically defensively. And I think you saw the frustration on the older guy. I think you saw it on Hunter. You saw it on all the other guys. They were frustrated with all that stuff, but they had to play him. I don't think this is the same situation.
Yeah, me neither. And I think there was a time you could really tell towards when they had to win, there was like nothing else involved, no BS or anything like that. Jawan chose T. Will in winning time. Like he went to him. Like he didn't go with Caleb. Like he went with T. Will. And I think that was a big frustration too. Like why are we waiting to put in T. Will for Caleb when Caleb's not really giving you much? Like you have to go to T. Will because he's been able to like, one, like be trustworthy on the court. 2, the dude is always ready to go. Always ready to go.
Always. No, nobody had a higher 3-point percentage on their first 3. entire country.
It was always knocked down. And then he would either go like 1 for 4 from that point or like 5 for 5. Like there was no in between.
Yeah.
No in between.
I think Terrence has the ability for more offensive responsibility. I don't know if this year sets up perfectly for him in terms of like how they're going to want to use Llewellyn and Hunter. Obviously, I mean, he can play off Hunter really great, but I think he has that capability. I'm interested to see if he's better at the 4, if he's better at the 3, but like he's just a dog. He's a dog. Like,
Yeah,
he's just gonna figure it out. I feel like he's just gonna be a headache, an underrated headache for Big Ten teams all year long.
Yeah, and I, I I'm gonna go the other way where I'm gonna say he's not gonna have more responsibility. I just think that he's gonna be able to. I think you're gonna see him be that fourth option, kind of like Eli Brooks was on that 2021 team,
Yeah,
where like he doesn't have a lot of pressure to do things, but he's just gonna cut you throughout the entire game, and you're like, oh, how Terrence do? He had 14.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Just
yeah,
like real, just like chill, real good games. He'll hit 9, 10, 11 points, 4 or 5 rebounds. Nothing sexy. No like crazy plays, nothing like that. He's gonna hit a three. He's gonna get some trash buckets around the rim. He'll hit a little mid range, get to the line 2, 3 times. Like right there, like that's like 12. That's 12, 13 points easy. And I think because you're going to have a bunch of guys who are going to be on the ball a lot, and which is kind of unlike last year, where you have Doug, you have guys like Llewellyn, you have guys like Jet who are very comfortable with the basketball,
yeah.
being able to create, get their own, make the right passes. They really didn't have that last year. So I don't think T. Will has to be in that group to really create. I think he's going to be created for, and I think he could be like a almost like a poor man's livers this upcoming year, where he's going to get created for. If he creates for himself, it's going to be like a pump fake, 1 or 2 dribbles, make the right pass, 1 or 2 dribbles, hit the shot. Then of course being able to play alongside, and like playing off of Hunter as well. So you have a dominant big, then you got 2 or 3 guys who are going to handle the ball. I think he's going to be in a real nice spot where he can kind of do what he wants and not be pushed to do one thing or the other.
Yeah, I think creating off the ball is definitely an underrated skill. And I think he's poised, like he's in that role where he can be the leader of off the ball creation. Like Eli last year was the only guy I saw that really created off cutting, and then moving for others, whether the people don't see it, but like you cut in the paint from the wing, boom, you draw 2 in, and now Hunter's got, because he's such a great passer, an easy hook pass over the corner. That's a wide open 3. Like stuff like that, where I'm hoping somebody needs to step up and do it. And I feel like it's an important role that it's not sexy whatsoever.
Right.
It's going to make your life easier. And Terrence fits that bill where he understands it. He's smart enough to go like, all right, I know how to make my life easier and like have my production go up. This is a win-win. And I feel like, who knows? Jet can do that, maybe Llewellyn, but like, it's a freshman, you're not really thinking about that. As a guy who has the ball in his hands all the time, you're not really thinking about that. So you got Cheddar, Terrence. The 4 spot is always perfect for it, right? Especially when you got a 5-man who is what Hunter is. Yeah. And then maybe the 3 a little bit. So maybe Buffkin can do it and Jet can do it a little bit. But yeah, it takes some practice there. And I want to talk to you about scheme. Like, do you think that they're going to kind of start out how they did last year, where it's like a toss the ball up, you guys figure it out because we're going to play free, and then Juwan does. He has a lot of patience. He gives them time to figure it out. Yeah. Do you think he's going to do that? Or they're going to be like, all right, we're going to hammer Hunter early and often. We're going to like scheme a little more for what we have.
I think it's going to be. I think they're going to do what they're going to do, and that sounds really dumb. But
I was like, what the hell is that, Ant?
Like they're gonna run their sets, and Michigan runs really good stuff. And I always laugh when like people like, Juwan's not an X's and O's coach, and I'm like, bro, if you watch his stuff, like the dude runs really good stuff. 1, 2, not all the time the personnel on the court mirrors what he's running, but just understand what he's running is good stuff.
Yeah.
This year's personnel fits what Juwan wants to run way better than last year. Like when they went to Caleb at the 4 or T. Will at the 4 or Musa at the 5, all of a sudden you see the offense just goes pop, 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 pop. But when the 4 was slower, that's where you saw things just went completely stagnant.
Yeah. I mean, plus I give Juwan credit, like scheming for a 4-man who can really play the 5 in the modern era and really couldn't shoot and as a freshman, like it was like a whole like a yeah. It was not, it wasn't great. It was just like a bad combo of all that stuff. So yeah, that's a good point there. I mean, I still think that there was a lot of sets they could have put Hunter through to like get him easier looks, like a
I agree.
set a cross screen. I'm dying for some cross screens, some diagonal screens. Like small screen on a big is lethal, man. And but
get creative with it.
Yeah, there's certain things, but also like I don't know. I think last year Hunter didn't start out like super motivated. Definitely not the way he ended the year. And from all I'm hearing is that he's like, he's all in on leadership. He's all in on talking. Like he's ready to go. I don't know if you've heard the same things, but I think that that's going to be kind of focused around him a little bit. Are you hearing similar stuff?
I also think last year there was a lot of off the court stuff going on.
Yeah.
That like I'm not going to really go into details about, but there are a lot of off the court things that was going on and happening that just was not good. And for them to even fight and put themselves in the situation that they were in was really impressive. And I do think that Hunter, like the way he started out was kind of off, and I think a lot of that was attributed to the chemistry took a long time. And like you have this recruiting class at the same time. It's like you got to put it all together still. Like you still got to make it work. Like just because you have these really good pieces doesn't automatically mean that you're going to have this masterpiece. Like you could have some great pieces. You could have all the pieces to a Lamborghini and it could still come out messed up if you don't know how to put it together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
big time.
Yeah, so it took them a really long time, and like they almost still didn't really put it together until they were able to get out of conference in the NCAA tournament, which is insane to even think about.
No, it was crazy. I mean, it was the tournament is just a mess like that. Just figure it out. I mean, it was amazing to go. I went to the Tennessee game. I mentioned on here before, but like watching them play, they just figured it out a little bit, and it took that long. But like, man, that was their most complete game from what I saw, and against a really good team, like a team that people had going to the Final Four. So
they were.
It was impressive, and I think this team meshes better in that sense. Like you don't have Caleb and Musa coming in being like, we got to perform to where we were ranked and then to the NBA. Like Kobe's been a project is like a little too strong. It's like a negative connotation, but he's developing. And Jet, I don't think he's an asshole. TBD, I don't know, but I mean, with your dad there, probably not. But he's confident. So, and Llewellyn's coming in knowing what it's all about. I don't know, maybe he's an asshole. You don't know. Like these guys could be great on paper, and then you're like they're just headaches, or vice versa. So you don't know how it's all going to come together, but I am excited for Llewellyn, and I want to get your thoughts on him a little bit, because I watched just a little bit of his highlights, and I think he's just got a smooth demeanor, and I think if he brings that over from Princeton and with a little bit of that one-on-one ability, because I know early on they're going to get stuck. Like it's just going to happen. They're going to have too many young guys coming in, too many moving pieces, trying to figure it all out. Yeah, we can throw it into Hunter, but we also, this is kind of where I was coming from, like scheming, like early on, really try and focus on Hunter, and then we can figure out the offense from there while we still win games. And I think the other side of that is like, give Llewellyn the ball, put him in some ball screens, like maybe some more directed possessions that way. We're like, we know we got two guys we can rely on, and the other guys will figure it out. And then by game 15, we don't have to do that as much. So, what are your thoughts on Llewellyn? Do you think he can come in and do not the exact numbers what he's doing, but kind of have that same demeanor, some of that same control?
Yeah, I think that he's someone who I'll be shocked if he's not averaging between 11 and 14 points a game.
Yeah.
Averaging around 5 assists a game. I just think that because like with Princeton, he had to play both guard spots pretty
Yeah.
much at the same time. Not only bring the ball up and break the pressure and then initiate, he was also the guy who they expected to get the team out the mud in shot clock situations. He was the one in pick and roll situations. He was the one who had to score in at every level without a screen. He was one who had to shoot the three off the dribble. He had to get to the mid range and he had to get to the cup and like he had to do so many things. As long as he understands that you could do those same things, but you don't have all the pressure anymore. That's kind of where he's gonna have to find that middle ground. But I'm really excited about him, and I do like him also being off the ball, being created for, because he wasn't really created for much last year. So
Right.
so like when you have guys like Doug or someone like Jet who's very confident off the dribble, and now he's playing off the ball, there's going to be less pressure on him. He is also a very capable shooter as well.
All right. Bold prediction from you, Jet Howard.
Jed Howard, I mean, he's going to start. He'll probably average around 11 or 12. And I think he is going to just get better and better as the season goes. He's a freshman. When you're a freshman and you're a freshman in the Big Ten, more than likely the first year is going to go a little bit tougher, right? But
Yeah.
we have seen cases like Hunter, who becomes an All-American. We have seen that. We have seen freshmen who come along and do very, very good. But it does help that Jet is going to be on a team who expects to win. It's not like a Bryce McGowan's at Nebraska situation where he's just there to just get buckets, win, lose, and draw. Right, exactly. Look, hey, you lost by 30, but hey, I got mine. Right, right. I got mine. That's all you gotta know. It's not that situation. And so what he does when it comes to productivity is going to lead to winning. It's not going to lead to his own statistics. And I think those are two different things.
All right, 5-man backup. Terrace, is he ready?
I like Terrace Reed, bro. Terrace Reed. He's a body.
Dude, he's good.
He is a body. He is a body. Skilled. He's a bull. He's someone who's. Don't be surprised if he takes like a 3 in games. Like, don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. He does have film of him hitting transition threes. I'm talking about in transition, he's running to the top of the key. He's stepping right into it and knocking it down. About 6'10", long wingspan, about 7'4", 7'5" wingspan, good with his feet. He's going to be really good when Hunter leaves too.
Yeah, so, that's what's exciting, I think. It's like developing all that. Okay.
Brings me Lunchables.
He's like, Daddy's hungry. I mean, you really can't beat a Lunchable.
The pepperoni? Here, take the pepperoni.
The underrated Lunchable was the ham and cheese.
The ham and cheese?
Very underrated.
He gets the Lunchables and just takes out the pepperoni, bro. Right. Now
because he's a protein beast. Because
this guy's a Mongol.
Dude's gonna be 6'7", 250. He's gonna be OG Anunoby. You're gonna form
him. Man, I don't know. It's scary. He's gonna be good. Whatever he chooses to do, bro, he's gonna be good.
We're talking for people who can't see us. We're talking about Walker. Walker he's
just. If you don't know,
he's a beast with a 2-year-old. His son.
My son is 2, and he's about 3 feet. It's like 3 feet 6 inches, 3 feet 7 inches. Come here, Walker. Let the people see you. Come here.
Well, he's got like hands bigger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah. You gonna wave high?
Well, he's just staring at me. He doesn't. Oh, there we go.
I know.
He's like, who is this?
Like, this dude is ginormous, bro. Like, this dude. This is
he's gonna be a beast.
I know. Look at his feet, dog.
You know what's gonna be funny is when he torches Oklahoma in the tournament one year.
For who? Illinois.
Yeah,
Illinois.
exactly. All right, so
Oh
quick hitters
man.
before we get out of here because I think Zoom is about to kick me off anyways.
100 percentile. Walker. 100 percentile on everything.
100, is he?
Yeah, he is. He's a beast. Unreal.
Well, if he keeps that up, yeah. To end it, we were talking about backup 5-man. You see Terrace, you see Will get in there at all? Backup?
Well, Cheddar, the wing spot is so jammed, but it's just one of those things where if he gets a shot, he can shoot the ball.
I mean, he can set a screen and pop or roll.
He's gotta come in and make shots. If he makes shots, like you can't not play him.
Yeah.
You know, especially if he's good defensively as well too.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to give the effort, and he's been into it. He's like a leader now. Okay, a game you're excited for. I know my pick, Arizona State. That's definitely going to be fun. I mean, I think there's going to be, I don't know if bad blood is too strong, but like that could be intense.
Arizona State's going to be an interesting game. Arizona State's not going to be good. They're not going to be good.
No, so but
that's going to be the funny.
They're gonna want to let Frankie know what he left.
Yeah, like, do you know Wolverine corner, Max?
Yeah.
So like every 10 days, he either posts a video or he shares the fact that Frankie took a step back three and shot the ball over the basket. Like he just posts.
No, he did not. Did he really?
Like every other week, and it's so funny every time. It's so funny.
Wait, recent? Or are we talking about last year?
Frankie did this last year.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, at home, took a step back and then like hit the shot clock.
I don't remember that at all.
I'll send you a video.
All right.
It's kind of funny. And then like there was a picture of like a basketball hoop, like a basketball court floating on some like lake or like a river. It was like pretty cool. And then of course he tweets out a picture of it and goes, "Imagine Frankie taking a step back and shooting this right into the water."
He's all over it. He's gonna have a heyday.
What are y'all doing? Nah, but you know, Frankie's an athlete. Frankie is you know, he's a good player, but Arizona State's not gonna be good.
No.
I can't wait till they play Kentucky. I can't wait for that game.
That's gonna be fun.
Oscar versus Hunter.
Yeah.
I think they can win that game. They've got the athletes. They've got a really good transfer in Reeves from where's he from? He's from like Illinois State, I believe, or something. But he's like 6'6", 6'7", can handle the ball, can shoot it. Real good player. I like Kaysen as well. Real good player. But I can't wait for that game, bro. That would be an exciting game.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I think it's in London too, right?
Yeah.
I think it's in London.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be all eyes on that. It'll be intense. I am excited about this team though. I think like top to bottom, they got a lot of different pieces and they got the maneuverability to kind of figure it all out a little different from last year. You know, some guys not really progressing how they want. They got other pieces to fill in that game. And then they got like matchup differences. You know, they're not going to have to force circle pieces into square holes, you know, circle pegs into square holes. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are you excited? Like, give me a bold prediction. Because I know they got a lot of teams finishing. A lot of people have had them finishing like third. Like, do you think they have that in them?
I can see like I won't be shocked if it was for like 4 or 5. I won't be shocked if it's like 4 or 5. But I think the conference is going to be a little bit better than what people think. I think a team like Iowa is going to be able to be tough. Rutgers is going to be better than what people think. I think there's going to be a lot more parity this year, and I think there's between 1 and every team except Nebraska and Northwestern. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Will be able to who you expect to go out there and there's going to be a dogfight. even Penn State with like Shrewsbury, like it's like these these teams aren't just some like you're not going to just like run through these teams anymore. So you see a lot of parity, and there's going to be some games you're going to say like, hey, how did they lose to them? And you're going to get a team who's unfortunately they're not going to have a great non-conference, but when it comes to conference play, they're going to be a pretty hard team to beat. And even though it'll kind of hurt your like quads, all because of like how all that works and who you play and all that stuff. But I can see 4 or 5 for sure. 4 or 5 for sure. You have Hunter, you have Llewellyn, but they do have some question marks, and you'll probably see those question marks get answered in the first couple weeks, and then we can always just reassess then.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting to see what it was like last year. Remember what was it, Arizona game? They played like 11 guys, and he was just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what stuck. And who knows if they're going to have to go through that again. I feel like it's poised, because it never happens how you think it's going to happen, right? So like last year, they have all these predictions with big recruits and blah, 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 blah. And then it didn't happen quite like that. And they were still trying to figure out who their top 7 or 8 was. And I feel like, they could surprise some people and just be like, yeah, we got to figure it out early on. Like, we're just going to go with this. And it's going to be like steadier. Now, I don't want anybody to expect anything steady because they're too young. There's too many moving parts. And like, that's unfair it was very unfair to the team last year, like 1,000%. Could not reiterate that enough. And I pat myself in the back for saying it then. And this team will have similar stuff. And I think ranking them in the top 25 is a lot of Hunter. And they're young, and they're talent. I mean, they have talent, but if they're in the top 25 after the first 3 weeks, I'm not going to be shocked. But like, they can definitely play their way back in 100%. But I'm going to give them a lot of time with a lot of things, but I think they have the pieces.
I'm with you there. And they have, they're going to have to rely on the backcourt a lot more this year, which is a better thing in my opinion, because those are the teams where if you do rely more on your backcourt, then you are going to be in a better position to make a Final Four run, in my opinion.
Yep.
That being said, the backcourt is very thin. You have Llewellyn, you have Doug. That's it. And you have Kobe. So you do have some question marks there. So like, guys can't get hurt in that position. Guys gotta get better and stay healthy, pretty much.
Yep, that is the key. Any more juicy tidbits you got for me before we sign off here? Thoughts, emotions, gossip.
No, man. No juicy tidbits, but I'm excited about this team because I think you have a chance to see what Hunter could have been last year with better spacing.
That's fair.
Because the spacing should be a lot better. And what he did last year, he was way better than his first year. People don't understand, like, he was way better than his first year. And then you combine that with having no shooters around him. Like, he was having to score on 3 or 4 people at one time. And they were just collapsing 24/7. And for him to be able to now get that spacing back along with his bag that he's been able to develop, you should see him back in that All-American tier again this year.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like 6, 7, 8 assist games. I'm waiting for it.
That too. Just have like a crazy stat line, like 27, 12, 8, 4 block.
Just something absurd. Yeah. I swear to God, he's like the best big man passer I've seen in a while.
Yeah, very good passer, but guys got to hit shots.
Yep.
Guys got to hit shots for him.
That's always the name of the game, especially when you get in conference play, and if it's not so fast. So we'll see. Well, that wraps up our preview. And we definitely got to talk more. I mean, I could have talked. Well, I had like 10 more questions for you about the team. It's going to be interesting to see. And we got what, 12 days, 11 days to tip off when this releases?
It's getting there. And there's an exhibition next week against someone.
Is that on TV?
That's on BTN Plus. So
okay.
I'm gonna find a way to finagle.
You like intercepting the signals and stuff, or
yeah, a little interception.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. But yeah, we'll come back and evaluate the team in a couple weeks. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. Appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. Talk soon.